Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Theotek podcast, where we talk about technology, theology, and all things related. So we got the usual crew tonight, even though we're missing Wes. But starting from left to right on my screen, we've got Antoine Wright from pretty much everywhere on the internet in the future. Then we got Kevin Purcell from kevinpurcell.org and Rick Mansfield from thislamp.org.
Good evening, or .com.
Or .com, yeah. And me, of course, LaRosa Johnson from LaRosaJohnson.com and devos.hiphop. So tonight we're discussing things that are going to help churches and pastors because lots of churches are smaller. Not everyone has a mega church. Not every church has a big budget. So we're going to be looking at software to help pastors and churches that have smaller budgets. So that's our topic for tonight. And I'm going to kick it off to you, Kevin, because you got the first thing that we're looking at.
Okay. Well, good evening, everybody. And since I often focus on Bible software, that's what I write mostly about for ministrytech.com. And I will mute my watch here since we're on the air. Sorry about that.
You reminded me I should do some of that too.
Yeah. I was trying to think, what's the best free Bible software that you can get and really get into the Word and really do some study. There's a lot of, free apps that you can just read the Bible, like the Bible app has, there's a Windows version, a Mac. I think there's a Mac version in the Mac App Store. Anyway, if not, you can go online and do it through Bible.com, and that's put out by lifechurch.tv. And YouVersion is what they called it. But that's not really a hardcore study tool. That's just kind of a devotional reading and community tool. And so I was deciding to highlight one of my old-time favorites, and that's eSword. And eSword I still think, is the best free Bible study program that you can get a lot of content in. Now, most of the paid ones, like we're going to hear from, Accordance and Olive Tree in just a little bit, you can get free stuff from them, and those are really good as well. But with eSword, I just really like it. I don't have it installed on this computer, and to be honest with you, the reason is even though I love this as the best free, I don't need a free one. I've got, Logos and Accordance and Word Search. I mean, I've got all the big guys just because of what I do as a reviewer of software. But I just really like it's a very simple layout. So I'm going to go over here to the features, and so you can kind of see what it looks like. Let's go in a little bit bigger on. Now it's not going to let me zoom in on that. Anyway, it's simple. You get all your books of the Bible and chapters. It's a tabbed interface. So this window shows your Bibles. This one has all of your commentaries. Down here is the editor where you can put your different notes, and then at the bottom here they've got their dictionaries, which that'll have both English and original language dictionaries. And then it's got some nice features. You can do a parallel Bible, so you can look at multiple translations at one time. The editor is almost as good as a real simple word processor, and it adds links. I think it's automatic. It was, I think. It's been a while since I've used it. What I also like is, when you open up a Strong's dictionary or a Strong's book that has Strong's tagging to the ESV or something, it will give you these tooltip pop-ups so that you can see the definition without having to necessarily go to it. If your book has content in that dictionary, it'll give you a little icon here on the tab to show you that, hey, this verse, this commentary over here has stuff about that verse. So there's lots of different great features of it. It's got a graphical viewer. You can have audio sermons in it. It also, believe it or not, is one of the best ways if you've got some really old stuff that was in, what's the STEP? That's what I'm trying to think of. The STEP library, some old-time Bible. software users will remember STEP. How many of you guys used STEP books?
I use step books.
Everybody.
I probably have those floppies somewhere.
Yeah, all of us old guys here used to use STEP. STEP was they were trying to make a universal format. That format has now sort of been, it's old fashioned. It's not really great for the modern computer, but it was a great idea in its time. And I sort of wish there was a modern STEP that we could get today, but the companies aren't going to cooperate like that. It's really kind of almost unreasonable to ask them to do that now. But anyway, but if you've got STEP content, you can open it up in eSword, and that's one of the cool features of it, if you like that sort of thing. So, and most of this stuff is free. So if you go, let's see here, let's say you download eSword. Where's the download link on this website now? I was going to show you everything that you can get.
You're looking at it.
That's to download the program. I'm looking for it to download the modules. Maybe that's integrated inside the program now.
Yeah, it's inside the program. You
Okay.
You don't download the modules separately.
You had to download them separately and install them separately, but now you can do it from right inside the program, I think.
A number of those Bibles on that screenshot, Kevin, were ones that do have copyrights on them. Which ones come with? I mean, does it come with the New American Standard and the ESV and the NIV and some of those, or
no?
Are they
not all of
for
those.
purchase?
Any of the public domain,
So
but you can get the ESV. I'm pretty sure that you can get the ESV inside it. I think there's a free. Well, no, not anymore. There was a free HCSB, a Holman Christian Standard. When the Holman Christian Standard Bible first came out, there was a free version of it, and I think they got it accidentally put on their website when they really didn't have rights to it or something. I don't know how, but anyway.
No. They actually got permission, limited time license permission to use many of the Bibles that you see. So the screenshots that are showing licensed versions, at the time of doing those screenshots, they were okay to use those versions.
No, that's not. I know that's not how that works with like all of them. Like you had to buy.
That's not all of them. That's for some of the ones that we've mentioned.
Right.
That
But the New American Standard, you always had to buy a licensed version of it. They never offered it for free.
I'm speaking from personal knowledge.
Yeah, I am too. So
yeah,
I'm speaking from direct information from Rick Myers, the publisher of the software. So I know you had to purchase Lockman Foundation key for New American Standard. Now there are sites. I'm going to just tell you, you can go and find some stuff. Whether that's something you agree with doing, I'm not going to say. I'm not going to also say where you can get it. There is I forget the name of the website that you can actually buy content for it. So when you are ready, eStudy Source, there it is. When you are ready to start adding stuff for pay, you can get some really great content for a decent price, a fair price. It's not like super cheap compared to the other programs. But if you say, hey, this is my program, I'm going to stick with this, and as a result of having used eSword all these years, I'm going to stay with it. So you can actually upgrade and get to like the New King James, the NIV, Holman Christian. That's not bad. $12.99 for that. Anyway, so that's eSword. I recommend it. If you want to see a video of it, you can go to just go to kevinpurcell.org and search for eSword, and you'll find where I did a review recently for the Mac version. You can go into the Mac App Store and buy a copy of it on the Mac, but it's not free, but it is really cheap. So let's see how much it is now. I can't remember. We'll open it up. See, it's $10 for the Mac version, and he just the Rick Myers, the guy who created this, did this because he wanted to allow it on Mac. But I don't think he did the programming, or if he did the programming, someone else helped him, and he had to pay as well. So I'm not 100% sure. Maybe Antoine, when he gets back, could answer that question. I don't have the inside knowledge.
He had some help.
He had some help and had to pay, so that's why it's for charge.
Yeah, he had a couple folks that helped him.
But it looks almost exactly the same as far as the the way it works on screen and everything, it looks very close to the same. And by the way, if you buy some of those eStudy Source, is that the right? Yeah, eStudy Source books, you can enter your information directly. I know you can do this in the Mac version. I haven't tried on the Windows in a while. You can enter directly into the Mac version your username and password from eStudy Source, and it'll let you download your paid books directly into it. But we're talking mainly about free, so you don't need, you can use it a lot, get a lot done without ever paying one dime if you're on Windows. So that's eSword.
All right. So who's up next?
Shall I go next?
Yeah, tell us what you can get in accordance for free.
Okay. Yeah, you know I got to talk about accordance. I'm going to talk. I'm going to talk about the what's free in the mobile app. Now, if you're wanting to get free in the desktop app, I'm going to say stay tuned. I can't talk about that right now, but we may have something to share in coming weeks. But let me. I'm going to share my entire screen here. And first, I'm going to show you a web page. This is the web page for Accordance Mobile, and you know what a lot of people don't realize is that you can go into the iOS App Store, download Accordance Mobile, and you know it comes with a copy of the English Standard Version with Strong's numbers, and it also includes these other items. Now, most of these are public domain, kind of like what you saw with some of the eSword stuff, you know, and you have to pay to get the extra stuff. But there is quite a bit of good stuff here, including the Greek and Hebrew dictionaries, which is things that we've customized. And then if you register, you get these items in here, including more things with Strong, such as the King James with Strongs, and some more works. But let me show you. I'm going to see if I can broadcast.
Can I interrupt you 1 second?
Yeah, please do.
When you say register, you don't mean register and pay. You just mean give them your...
No, free registration, you know, so that we've got a name and an email address that we can keep in touch with you. You know, if you do that, you will... There, I'm going to put myself in... Look, I'm putting myself in do not disturb mode because I was getting Facebook on there. I'm here in Reflector, and you know, it's interesting because I just got my new iPhone 7 Plus. Maybe we'll talk about that after a while. And so I actually I'm in the process of re-downloading a lot of stuff, including Accordance here. And so I don't actually have all my Accordance stuff on here. This is pretty close to what you get when you download the free version. So I assume everyone can see this on my screen. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, so for instance, you know, I told you that the ESV, which is what is here in the top half, that it has Strong's numbering, unlike eSword that kind of puts the numbers in the text, which I've never liked that approach, although I understand some people do. I don't like it breaking up the text. Here, what you can do is like I'm going to kind of tap and hold on genealogy, and so what that does is it pulls up the Mounts Greek Dictionary down at the bottom, and so you see Genesis, and of course you also have the Strong's numbers there. In fact, if you look there underneath Mounts Greek Dictionary, you see both the Goodrich-Kohlenberger number and the Strong's number there as well, and you have dictionary definitions, and of course this is all fully searchable as well, and you can actually get pretty complex as to the search that you're doing. And again, this is all in the free one. Let me show you something that's brand new, that's just in 2.4 that was just released. If I go here to I'm going to go here to I'm going to use my mouse for a minute to show you where I'm going. The settings that control the font there. And I'm gonna you know, of course, this text scrolls with you see the Greek New Testament down there scrolling with it, but I'm gonna close the Greek New Testament for a minute, and I'm gonna go up here to the part that says, you know, to the part that controls the font, and there's a new feature that you see right here called Interlinear, and what we've done is we've adapted our dynamic interlinear. And let me turn that on for a second. So I've turned the interlinear on here. I don't know that anyone else is doing this. I could be wrong, but this works with any biblical text that uses either Strong's numbers, or you could actually start from the Greek and Hebrew, if it's tagged with the underlying information here. And I can go in here into the interlinear settings, and I can control what shows up here. So maybe I'm just starting out learning, and I want to have the transliteration so I can make sure I pronounce it correctly, and so forth. I can add all of this stuff in here, and I'll just click here, and you see that there. And of course, this will still scroll as you go. I can still press and hold down on any of these words, and I can pull up the dictionary there as well. Did I hear clapping, or I don't know what
Yes,
I
that
just...
was me clapping.
Oh, cool. Thanks. Well, La Rosa, from you, that's a high compliment. I appreciate that. Yeah. So that's brand new. And again, you're going to get that, and you're going to get that with the ESV in that free version. So that's that's pretty cool. You actually get a lot. You can also come in here, and just like you could with with a paid version, you can come in here and you can add notes, and you can back those notes up to Dropbox and all of that. So there's a tremendous amount of things that you can do here. Here's highlighting and so forth that you can do with this. I always say that this, to me, this is better than some of the stuff in YouVersion. It's just a matter of people realizing it. Because you're going to be able to do some tricks here that you can't necessarily do with some of the free software. Even though this right here is free too. Again, you can always... I was trying to quit sharing my screen. Have I stopped sharing my screen?
Yeah, we can see.
Okay, good. So you can always upgrade to one of the collections, but that's also a tremendous amount of content that you get right here just for free.
Interesting.
I'll be downloading that on my iPad later.
Cool.
That interlinear feature. So it's funny, Rick. It's funny. So back in the day when mobile Bible software was new, Palm Bible Plus had an interlinear Bible, and the toggles that you showed were exactly the same, but they weren't activated from a popover menu. They were actually activated from the Trio 600's keyboard.
Huh.
So based on the letter that you tap, on and off. Yeah, there was a whole lot of little tricks in that. But the interlinear was one of those special ones. I remember the guys yelling about how hard that was to code.
What was that company?
Palm Bible Plus.
Palm Bible. I don't think I had that. I had the one from Olive Tree. In fact, it was kind of a... I know that Accordance and Olive Tree together put out some stuff like the Graham Cord Greek New Testament, and I had all of that on my Palm back in the day.
Yeah, man, those are good times. But it's good to see. It's good to see an interlinear back.
Yeah.
So I guess that puts it on me, and I'll stick to the theme of Bible software. I found over the course of the last many months the Bible software verse 3. We talked about some many shows ago. And it's called the attention. Not so much of those folks that are in well-established or larger church fellowships, but those that are in kind of the startup church side of things, where folks are really just trying to lean into listening to the vision that's being cast. And so verse 3, I should actually go ahead and pull this back up on here. iOS software, iOS only at this point. The developer, David Fetter, who we had on the show some time back, is actually working on an Android version. It's not ready just yet, but it's to come. He's actually... So there's some changes that are going to be happening there. But verse 3 is very simple. It's kind of a almost reverse of most of the Bible software out there that starts with the text, and then you go ahead and write your notes. This one starts with your notes, the text to your notes, the biblical text to your notes. There you go. Has a fairly fast... It was 44, so okay, that was like 30 shows ago. Has a fairly fast search feature. He's actually improved the speed of the verse search feature. There's some taxonomies that have been done since we did that show that really have allowed for subject matter search. This is still kind of a labor of love for him, so it's not maybe as expansive as what you would find in an Olive Tree or Concordance or Logos. But for simple software that's really notes first, definitely preferred piece on my end, and it's still free, so it's still kind of easy peasy to download. What Kevin's showing right now is the integration to create a brand new note or create a brand new set of notes, and the backup for verse 3 is actually your Dropbox account. It actually sits, the notes actually sit as a text file, flat text file in your Dropbox account, and you can go ahead and import that into just about anything you choose from. You can go ahead in there with a text editor and edit it. And then when you open verse 3 again, those edits show up right inside the application itself. You can actually share those files if you do Dropbox sharing, and multiple people can collaborate over the same set of notes, and both persons will see the notes as Dropbox syncs on their respective devices. So it's pretty neat. Pretty solid.
Yeah, that was episode 44. So that's been almost, what, 34,
30 shows.
36 shows ago. We're on episode 80 tonight, so that is 36 episodes ago. So not quite a full year. Cool. And there's Antoine looking dapper as ever. What about Olive Tree? Can you get free stuff out of Olive Tree, Larissa?
Yeah. I mean, Olive Tree's got plenty of free stuff. Like pretty much the same public domain stuff that you get in anywhere, like Matthew Henry, Easton's, JFB, that kind of stuff you can get for free in Olive Tree. And just recently, we're now able to give away both the NIV and New King James for free as well. So pretty much the major Bible translations that are used right now, KJV, ESV, NKJV, and NIV, all those are free within our app now. So
It doesn't hurt that HarperCollins owns those translations and Olive Tree. No.
Yeah, but even still, that took some pretty hard negotiations.
It's a really good deal. Yeah, I'm sure.
Hey, if you got an advantage, use it, right?
Yep.
That's nice, because those are, NIV and New King James are two of the ones that people really want, along with, maybe ESV and to a lesser extent the Holman Christian Standard Bible. But
yeah, and you can actually get the HCSB for free too. We still have a free version on our website.
That's right. There is. I forgot about that. So.
Yeah, it just doesn't have the footnotes.
Okay.
And yeah, the Olive Tree app is the app itself is free. It's fully functional. So, like taking notes, highlights, and doing any of that kind of stuff, it's all free. If you create a free account, everything will sync to our servers, and you can back up and restore onto as many devices as you have. So yeah, Olive Tree is a good platform to use as well.
One of the things I really like about the Olive Tree apps, if you are like me and you run almost every platform, because I'm on Windows and Mac and iOS and Android often. I use all of them very regularly. It's in my opinion, and it's fast on every one of those. And so that's why it's still, going to be a top player in my Bible study arsenal because of those reasons. So I'm looking forward to Accordance having an Android app. I hear that's a possibility maybe one day.
It's a strong possibility. It's in development.
Sometime between now and the election, maybe.
I can't give you a date, but I have seen.
You've heard about it.
No, I've seen it. I've actually seen it. So,
yeah. Well, if you've seen it, that's a little better, because that means it's actually starting to work. Well, good. We'll look forward to that. Well, let me share one more option for Bible study, if you guys don't mind. And that is, I'm again going to show you a link from the Theotek website. It's kevinpurcell.org and theotek.com are the same site. But I did an article about free online Bible study sites, and I wanted to go into some depth on it. So it's actually a two-parter. But we'll put a link in the show notes about this. The title of it is The 6 Best Online Bible Study Sites, Part 1. And, it's got BibleStudyTools.com, which is pretty good. Has a nice interlinear feature. Bible Hub and Biblia, which is owned by Logos. I would not recommend Biblia anymore. I would say, you know, if you want to use an online site, use one of these other two. The Biblia site is sort of, I don't know, they just don't seem to be doing much with it. I think they really want you to use their Logos web app, which you actually have to pay to get access to. So I can't really call that free any longer. So I would, if I was to rewrite this, I would drop off Biblia, not for any hatred of Logos. I don't think this one's going to get developed anymore. And so I don't really want to recommend that people spend a lot of time on a site that's probably not going to get updated a lot. It might, I don't know, but anyway. And then let's see here. If I've got a link to somewhere in here, I had a link to the other article, but you'll find it. Just go to the website. There's 3 more on the other side. So if you want to do it all online, that's a good option. So these will work on your iPad. These will work on your Windows or Mac, either one. Good option. I'm done.
Yeah, and also I'd be remiss if I didn't mention my former employer, WordSearch. They also have a free version of their software as well, but I think the free version is on Windows desktop only.
So you can get the free engine for WordSearch?
Yeah, it's called WordSearch Basic.
Oh, okay, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, which used to be Bible Explorer.
That's right. They bought one or the other and then converted. I totally forgot about Bible Explorer WordSearch Basic now. And you can get some free stuff with them as well, just like you can on some of the others. If I was picking between WordSearch and Accordance and Olive Tree right now, I would go with Olive Tree just because of the Android side. Once the Android side of Accordance, then they're just right up there. It's sort of a download them both, check them both out, and then decide which one works best for you between those two.
It seems like it's a real challenger. I'm not a programmer, but I saw an old friend today, and he and a partner are working on an app, and they have it, in iOS up and working. They haven't released it yet, but anyway, I asked him about Android, and he said, we're going to have Android, but it's difficult to get it into Android. So that seems like a real challenge.
Yes, it is.
It is. That's a real problem.
Android,
Yeah, if you're trying to code for multiple OSs, like if you're trying to code for iOS and Android, it's difficult. I mean, if you're going Android only, it's not too difficult.
It's difficult.
Difficult in the sense you have multiple screen sizes to code for, but yeah.
People who do code for both say that it's harder to write an Android app from scratch than it is to write an iOS app from scratch. I've heard coders. I don't know personally because I'm not a coder.
Yeah.
But, I've talked to Bible app coders that have said that. And that's one of the reasons why if you've got limited resources, you're likely to go iOS first. I even know of one that was an Android fanatic. He hated Apple and thought that, the iPhone was a terrible thing, and then decided to make an app, and he went and made it for iOS. So
as bad as it sounds, iOS users actually buy apps.
Yeah, that's another thing too, is there's a little bit more money on the iOS side. That's because they're used to being overcharged.
There's a lot of bit more money. It has nothing to do with overcharge. That's where the users are. Unfortunately, there are more people using Android devices, but more folks in iOS apps.
Right, because the idea behind the mentality of an iOS user is I pay for things, whereas the mentality of an Android user is I want the cheapest I can get. And that's not universally true. I'm making a broad generalization that's very false in many situations, but
but I mean, it's the reason why most
ordinary person, it's somewhat true.
Yeah, and it's the reason why most companies go iOS first, because that's where they're going to make their money.
And that's a shame because I like Android as well, but I wish that I wish there was unlimited funds and everyone could do exactly what they want all the time. But it doesn't work that way. We're not in heaven yet.
No, we're not in heaven, but that's why we're doing this talk today. Because there are those challenges, and whether we're talking about individuals who are looking to improve themselves spiritually, or small groups to new churches who want to get started, fairly quickly. It shouldn't have to cost you an arm and a leg to do so. But we have an opportunity here, on a show like this to point out some of those advantages of low cost, high quality solutions.
Yeah, and some of these free high quality that we've mentioned tonight for Bible study are very high quality. Accordance and Olive Tree, even Logos. You can download the Logos app on iOS, register, and get free stuff. And you're going to get some good stuff. Now, you're not going to get access to all the whiz bang features that they offer, but to be honest with you, a lot of those features are more whiz and bang than they are useful. For the average Bible student. If you're a real hardcore scholar, you might need and want some of those more advanced features. But the other thing is, there's a lot of people in international markets, who are not as wealthy as we rich, fat Americans, and I'm speaking about myself right now. And so they just don't have the resources to get what other people can get. And so that's why, I'm glad that we did this tonight to hopefully help some folks.
Oh, it's not just those, and I'd be remiss, you mentioned that, and I probably should have threw that on my list of things since I have it sitting here at home. But it's not so much the cost for our international folks; it's actually availability in their language. YouVersion has done an amazing job trying to get as many native languages inside of their app as possible, but getting people online is hard enough, not just having content. I like what groups, like Bible Box have done, even though this has a cost to it, this is just a Wi-Fi enabled hotspot, but everything that's on it is a free Bible or audio text Bible, and it's localized to that respective region's language. This is from Papua New Guinea, so it has their native music, you name it. And this is all free content that's been licensed for that respective region. So those kind of opportunities really await themselves, are there. They're there, and we're taking advantage of.
Off the top of your head, guys, I bet each one of us could come up with non-Bible software that people can use for free that will help them in their ministry, either as a pastor or just a believer wanting to communicate with the world or get some things done. So round robin, what do you think? Antoine, you go first.
Yeah,
something free that's not Bible software.
Oh yeah, no, that's easy peasy. I would tell you there are two messaging apps that if you're in the US, you're going to take one. If you're not in the US, you're probably going to take that one or the other. The first one is Facebook Messenger, and the second one is WeChat. They are the two largest social networks. If they were countries, they would be in the top 6 in terms of population size and installed base. They are full. They're not just instant messaging applications, but for example, WeChat has a full payment mechanism built in within it. So it's not just that I can talk to somebody else, and say, hey, I like saying hello to you, who you are, blah, blah, blah. But I can actually go ahead and send money to another person or send money to an organization. What's really neat about WeChat is that the organization can actually have a channel they of themselves and pass content, whether that be stickers or audio messages or text messages, you name it. You can do video calling. It even has to do voice calls, app to app. And same for Facebook Messenger. These platforms make it very simple for anybody who's in a low cost or burgeoning fellowship to be able to connect with one another. Depending on again your need and your audience. Those are two very hard places not to find your audience.
Can you think of one, LaRosa?
Yeah, actually, it's one that Wes was going to mention, which is WordPress. Like if you're just a ministry or just someone who's looking to get stuff online, or even a church looking to put a church website together, you can go to WordPress.com and put together a free website. And I mean, WordPress is really easy to use. I mean, even if you're just using the free one, you'll have limited themes and you can't necessarily do a lot of the plugins, but you can still do quite a bit with it.
Yeah, and you can even get a free one on WordPress.com, right? That you don't have to pay for hosting for the basic traffic level, right?
Nope, you'll just have a subdomain of WordPress.com, but yeah, it's completely free.
Now, if you want to spend like 10 or 20 bucks, depending on what kind of domain you want, you could go to Hover and buy a domain and then have it forwarded to your WordPress site, even with, WordPress.com / Ain't God Cool. You could have your Hover site, ain'tgodcool.com, forward to that WordPress.com / Ain't God Cool.
Yeah,
and,
you can.
they wouldn't really even notice it.
Domain. You can buy a domain also through WordPress. They'll send you to one of their partners to do so. So you have as little configuration. You don't have to worry about CNAMEs and all of that fun stuff.
Yeah, but wouldn't how buy it if you buy a domain from WordPress? Don't you have to buy the hosting too then?
I'm not sure. It's been a god awful long time since I did that, but I do know many hosts right now, they actually offer WordPress installs along with their domain. So you can opt for a WordPress oriented package where you get your domain, you get your WordPress install, and you just kind of build out from there.
You can do this really cheap.
Yeah.
If like for $5 a month, you can get a basic level WordPress site. I use this company called ICD Soft. And if you have a site with them, it's less than $10 a month, like about $6 or $8 a month. I happen to have a whole bunch of them, and so I signed up for what's called a developer account, so I can actually add a new site for less than $5 a month. But so you can get good ones, but that's a great recommendation.
Yeah, another one I want to recommend too is, so if you're looking to get your sermons online, is looking at like free podcasting sites like podbean.com. That's actually who I'm using for devos.hiphop. And right now, because my files are so small, so like I think my files are like 4 or 5 megabytes a piece per episode. And so if you can keep your cap under 50 megabytes per month, you can upload MP3s there and set up a podcast where people can just automatically get your new sermons every week.
Yeah, that'd be a good option for someone with maybe like a small church, and they've got people that they want to be able to download them, but then they don't think they're going to really have a huge audience, probably.
Yeah, or then there's even like SoundCloud too, but SoundCloud you don't have like the backlog if you're sticking with the free.
Right. Isn't there a time limit as well if you're with a free account?
For SoundCloud?
Yeah, like a 20-minute time limit per file.
I don't remember. I think there's just like a total time limit for like number of files you can have.
Okay. Rick, have you got a freebie, non-Bible software related you can think of? You're either muted or I can't hear you.
I had the little button on my Yeti pressed in there.
Oh, okay.
To pick up inspiration on some of what you guys have said and to offer something different, free services, a lot of things. One service that we might take for granted is something like YouTube. We all carry video cameras now, and so and all of these devices, whether it is an iPhone or an iPad or any of the Android devices, usually come with free video editing software, and it's gotten really sophisticated. We talked about when we first were covering the iPad Pro about its ability to do 3 streams of 4K video, and to do a large number of special effects and things like that. And so, you can record content. And you can, you can be as creative as you can be, edit that, put it up to a service like YouTube for free, and it's a great way to get a message out. And add to that, even the things that come with these devices, such as, we've talked in here about Keynote before, using Keynote where you can be really creative, or using even some of the other things like, if PowerPoint's too boring for you, check out Microsoft Sway or something like that, to communicate a message for no additional cost other than your initial investment already in the equipment.
Yeah.
Let me throw something out there, Rick. You mentioned YouTube. And YouTube has more videos loaded to it per minute than like it's ever been loaded in the history of man.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. The sad part is that's not even the biggest place for videos right now. You have Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter,
Right.
WeChat, Line, who are all processing even more video. The ability to be your own broadcast. And literally to choose, it's not even I want to send it to YouTube. I only need this temporarily, so it's just going to be a Periscope video, and bam, you got your audience as necessary to your respective social streams. That's
also there's
huge.
Facebook. I'm sorry, I didn't know you. I thought you were finished. There's also Facebook. If you're not going to be able to see this, are you, on the camera? Anyway, if you hit the live button.
Yeah, that's right.
You can go live, have a live broadcast right on Facebook, and then that stays on Facebook so that people will come later on and see it. And in fact, if you are live, folks can react and ask questions and you can interact. So, I mean, you could do what used to be, people would go to college at Moody Bible Institute in their broadcasting system and then, require a license. At the very least, you'd have to get an FCC license to set up a small, channel, and it would cost you thousands and thousands of dollars a year, if not a month. Now you can do for free right from your phone and reach far more people than you ever would have been able to with one of those small powered TV stations. You can reach people worldwide now with it. So
the world is yours.
That's right. We live in an amazing time, and we're just getting started.
At least talking to the world is yours. Getting everybody to listen is a whole nother crazy beat.
Well, let me share one that for the disconnected population, there's a lot of people out there still. It's hard to believe for someone like me who's always online. There are still a lot of people out there who don't have 100% access to the internet 100% of the time. If you can quickly download something, one of the greatest software suites for word processing and all that kind of stuff comes from OpenOffice, right? And I think it's still OpenOffice, right?
No, OpenOffice is pretty much done right now. LibreOffice is pretty much the main project.
They're kind of the inheritor of OpenOffice, LibreOffice.
Well, it's right here.
We're having difficulty too.
What is it? What'd you say was the inheritor?
You'll see the Libre, Libre Office.
Well, it's still available. Free and open suite.
OpenOffice is still available.
It's not being updated though.
It's not being updated and has a very big hole of security, a very big security issue that is not being fixed.
Okay, so now it's LibreOffice?
Yeah, Libre.
But it's still free, right?
Yes.
Okay, but it's the same software.
It's improved. It built on top of it.
Right. That's it's been a long time since I've even looked at it, so I'm glad you guys are more up to date than I am about it. But there it is.
Like when Chrome built off Firefox and then took off and do its own thing.
That makes me wonder if I've got the newest version. I'm kind of looking myself right now.
PC software.
But I mean, this is. I remember when before I got Microsoft Office and I had WordPerfect, but I don't know. I always like to try something new, and I remember the first time I recognized or discovered. It was something else before OpenOffice too, wasn't it? Did it have some other name before it was called OpenOffice?
It was.
And I can't remember what that name was. But anyway, I downloaded whatever it was before that and went, wow, I can use this. So I went, for about 6 months, that's all I used. And then I ended up falling under the prey of the evil corporation Microsoft.
There's nothing evil about Office software.
I'm kidding.
Only the people that use it.
But I've had for classes I've taught as an adjunct, I've had students turn in LibreOffice files, which technically we're not supposed to take because they want everything in Word. But I've taken them, and because you can make comments on them, and so I've tried to always keep an up to date version on my laptop here. I just realized I've got version 4.4, and what I saw on your screen there, Kevin, was that 5 was out.
Well, and then for as long as that goes, if you are online, there's Google Docs, right? And
Yeah, of course.
that's free and easy to work with other people with Google Docs. And of course, there's Google Sheets, I think it's called, and Google, what's the presentation one called? Present?
Slides.
I can't remember.
Slides, Google Slides. So,
I
could have done this.
Office 365 is free for everybody that has a smaller than 10-inch screen. So
Yep.
I wouldn't throw that out.
Yeah.
I wouldn't throw Microsoft totally away either.
And they're obviously their stuff is good.
Yeah,
And
and
by
you
the
can get the
way-
web version too. You can
Yeah, the
access
web
that for free.
version. Can't you just like do some limited edits?
Yeah.
Even on a regular size, not regular size, but a larger size.
I believe so.
Yeah.
So I know you don't get the full web version unless you pay the Office 365 subscription. But anyway, you can get something. You can at least read them, if nothing else. I know you can do that. Well, this has been cool. I like this.
Yeah, there are lots of free options out there, more than there used to be.
Oh yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. Well, there's lots of high quality free options. There's always
Yeah.
been free options.
Yeah, well, high quality free options, yeah, definitely.
Cool. What's next, Mr. LaRosa?
Well, it's been a few days since the iPhone officially released, so let's talk iPhones. I think there are a couple people in the house that have
Yeah.
iPhone 7s,
Got
and then
mine.
today is also Mac OS Sierra Day.
Let me start by telling my story. Some of you maybe
It's a sad story.
it is a sad story. Some of you maybe tuned in last Friday when Wes and I did a Theotek Extra. We used to talk a lot about doing Theotek Extras, and yet we never did them, except I've done maybe 3. And so I thought, here's a great chance. We'll do an unboxing online of my iPhone 7 Plus. And T-Mobile sent me this one, an iPhone 7.
The world saw you cry online live.
I was not crying, but I was visibly disappointed. One of my church members sent me a text and said, I was watching that. You were so excited. And then I could tell you were so disappointed. Because I can't believe they did that. I went ahead and said 7 Plus. I want the 7 Plus. He asked me, you want the 7 Plus? I said, yes, I want the 7 Plus. And so anyway.
So this was
Now
human
what I have to do
communication.
is
It wasn't, you weren't filling out a form. You were actually telling someone. And
I
so
was telling someone, here's the thing.
so that was the weak
That
link.
same store had 4 other people with the same thing happen, and it was not the same guy who did all 4 of the customers. So what's going on is T-Mobile is switching people from an iPhone 7 Plus or pre-order to an iPhone 7.
Wow.
Hoping, I think, this is my conspiracy theory, hoping that I'm just too dumb to realize that that's a tiny, dinky little toy-sized phone compared to an iPhone 7 Plus.
Yeah, because apparently for T-Mobile, the pluses aren't even starting to ship until today. Because I have a coworker that got one from T-Mobile, and he just finally got his card charged for it.
I was told, that I would get mine between the 27th and October 10th.
Wow. Well, I wasn't supposed to have this one that I have because.
You stole it, didn't you?
Well, no, I didn't steal it. I'm in Apple's iPhone upgrade program, and so I get mine through Apple. Pay the same thing, that you pay to a carrier, assuming that you got Apple Care every month, and I can get a new one every year. But Apple messed up on the when the ordering went live on last Friday, they messed up, and people in the upgrade program got moved to this different SKU, and somehow it got messed up and we couldn't get them. And then those class action lawsuits really quick, and they were apologizing, and anyway, I got an email from them and said, tell us what you want, and we'll get you one as quick as we can. And so, and I'd gone to the local store here, and there were just no pluses to be found. And so I went online and I filled out a form, and I said, I'll take any color you can get. And they said, well, okay, so on Monday we'll have you on, and it's gold. Okay. But, and you notice this isn't gold, but my wife was in a conference in Franklin, Tennessee over the weekend, and I was up at 6 a.m. and I thought, I'm going to just check the local store. I checked the local store, and they had a black one. Now this isn't the jet black, or what they're calling the Vader black, but it's the other black one. And so I was very pleased to get it. In fact, it was the only color that they had in the plus. This was at the mall in Franklin, Tennessee.
What storage size?
256. I wanted a 256.
Nice.
And the reason I wanted 256, I've talked about this before, is when I take video with this, I take 4K to kind of future-proof my video, and I have filled up the 128 that I had previously, taking 4K video. So I wanted the 256 for that very reason. But anyway, I was there. I got to the store an hour early, thinking that they would be open on Saturday. And they weren't open an hour early. But I was the first one in the store because I was there early, and basically walked out with it still in the box. I wasn't going to take up their time to install all my stuff on it, since I knew how to do that. I went over to the Starbucks, got on the Google Wi-Fi at Starbucks, and took about 2 hours to download everything, and I was up and running.
So you guys got any questions?
How's that camera?
No, I don't have any questions. Actually, I played with it actually a few hours ago. And
yeah, how's the camera?
You guys
tested it out yet?
Yeah, the camera's nice. Basically right now the major trick that it does with the two lenses is the zoom, and the zoom works very well. There's going to be other functionality in it later besides the fake bokeh. They're supposed to do some other. There's rumors that they're going to be doing other things with it too, but it does work very nice. And I haven't had, and for Wes, who's not with us tonight, he wanted some raw file images taken with it, which you can do not through the Apple app, but you can do, like, for instance, in Adobe Lightroom, they updated for the phone, and you've got and you can take a raw file. So I took some raw files and sent them to him to play with. So all that. But what was interesting, and I'm sure they'll fix this, but in Adobe Lightroom, you can take pictures and you can take them in raw files, but you don't have access to the zoom yet. And so I guess they just haven't. That's Adobe. They haven't implemented that yet. I'm sure it'll be there.
So another question for you: how are you coping without the headphone jack?
Yeah, I've had no problem, just as I said that I would have no problem. So, I don't know why you can say that, but there's, there it is. You just have the one port, and I got my headphones, which I have used a number of times. Now I'm using one of the older pair of headphones right now because I've got it plugged into my Yeti mic here. But the newer ones I've got in my bag. I've used them a number of times. With no problem. I haven't used that dongle yet, but I've got it in my bag, for if I ever need to use it. No problem. But now I haven't had to charge and listen at the same time. As Kevin pointed out last time we were together, that could be a problem.
Yeah, this isn't the box that iPhone headphones came in. This is a Samsung box, but it's one exactly like that, the way it used to come. And now it comes in this little flimsy cardboard thing, which you basically open up, and then it's not useful anymore.
But it was very clever the way that cardboard was put together.
You'll throw it away. Well, yeah, it's sort of origami-like folding going on here. I have a feeling that's probably an environmental.
I never could get mine back in the case just right anyway.
Well, I think that's why they probably did that. Let's save some money plus save the planet with these. But I was a little surprised, because. You always sort of expect a slightly nicer unboxing, and when I saw that, I was like, "Oh."
I wonder if it still comes in the case if you buy them separate.
Yeah, no big deal. What's that?
I wonder if they're still in the case if you buy them separate, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it really matters
it comes in
that much. But my first reaction was, "This is weird."
Yeah, I never carried the case with me. I probably have empty cases around here somewhere, but.
I did. I had like 3 or 4 of them sitting around with the headphones in them because I actually hate the headphones, the Apple style earbuds. Are you trying to say something, Antoine? Go ahead.
You hate the headphones, but you're going to complain that they take away the headphone jack. What kind of logic is that?
It makes perfect sense. And the reason is I hate the Apple headphones. And so I'm going to have to use, in order to get comfortable headphones, I'm going to have to use a third-party headphone, which is not going to have a headphone.
Is that
a lightning port?
Well, yeah, but you've got your dongle now, so you can use that.
I've got my dongle, and I'm sure I will lose it. But that's one of the main reasons I was so upset, Antoine. I don't understand why you think that's unusual. That actually makes more sense that way. If I loved the Apple headphones, I wouldn't be disappointed that they took the jack away because I could just use the Apple headphones. But it's because I hate the Apple headphones, and I'm going to have to go buy a pair of headphones from someone else that are comfortable for me, which I did. But now I got to plug it into a stupid dongle.
Here's what I'm waiting for. See, I've been buying replacement headphones, like 3 or 4 at a time from Groupon, where they had them for $9.99 each. Yeah. So I'm waiting for the new when the Lightning headphones come to Groupon. That'll be handy because I always lose the headphones eventually.
What are you shaking your head so disparagingly at me for?
So you know how LaRosa introduced me as being from the future?
What's this got to do with future? I don't like Apple headphones, and so I got to use third party. Oh, now I got to use the dongle.
Wired headphones are really not.
Well, here's another thing. There are a lot of people having trouble pairing their Bluetooth headphones with the iPhone 7.
I was able to do
that online. A lot of people have had that difficulty, and I actually it was harder.
I've seen the 3 people yelling about it.
Backbeat. I have a pair of Backbeats Go, and they pair with everything easily. And I had to kind of do it 2 or 3 times with these. Now I got them paired, and I use them. But the problem is those things only have about a 5-hour battery life, and sometimes I want to listen more than 5 hours. So I pull out my J's headphones. And now what I did is I took my dongle, plugged it into my J's headphones, which I keep in my bag. And so that's what I'll do from now on. LaRosa, what you showing us there?
I am now in the iPad Pro family.
Cool.
Very
hey,
nice.
And by the way, the new headphones work on the iPad Pro 12.
Yeah, mine didn't the first time I tried, but then later they did. It was weird.
So I don't have the 12-inch, but I have the 9.7, and I love the screen on it, how it changes the color temperature of the white.
Yeah, I turned that off. I didn't like that feature.
What I thought, just interestingly thing about the 7 instead of the 7 Plus, this feels like such a tiny little kid's toy.
That's because you're a bigger guy.
What are you trying to say? You're exactly right. I'm so used to the big one. It's still. Boy, you are really condescending tonight, Antoine. I'm telling you. Anyway.
I have a picture. Hold on. I got it because I have to show folks.
It feels like I'm typing on a tiny little keyboard.
Look, man, you see this? You see how big that 7 Plus is compared to my head? And I have a big head.
Yeah.
I think there's some depth perspective there too, though.
That's true.
I am average American height, 5'10", $155.
Yeah, you fit in my left pocket.
Exactly. Yeah. This is a big honking phone. The 7 is a better size phone. The SE, which is in my hand right now, and looking at my favorite thing, nice little wallet case. This is a phone.
Kevin, would you agree with me that if they made this 6 inches, you would take it, or maybe even Lord. 6.5?
What? What are you asking me about? What size headphone I would like?
Yeah. There you go.
Honestly, if they made the iPad Mini as a phone, I would not own an iPhone.
Well, you can jailbreak it, and that'll work.
Well, I'm not going to jailbreak my phone or my iPad. I've jailbroken phones in the past, and they're a little bit less stable than I want them. So, yes, I would do that. I would go Bluetooth.
Now you mentioned difficulty with Bluetooth. I did not have trouble connecting mine to that. I've got those cheap bellboy Bluetooth headphones. In fact, I used them today. They're the ones I told you that they speak to me in Asian. I can't get them to go back to English. I don't know why. And I emailed them, and I still don't have an answer. But they worked fine. They paired fine, and I've got a long list of things that I've got paired. Everything from the automatic in my truck, that takes care of my mileage and all of that, to my Alpine stereo system in my truck, the Bellboy headphones. I mean, I've just got this long list of stuff that I had no trouble pairing the Bluetooth on mine. So maybe it's individual ones.
Go to twit.tv and look for Leo's, on camera thing when he's trying to pair his, and he's having a miserable time doing it.
Yeah, I heard that. I didn't see it. I heard that, and I wished I could have been there to help him.
Well, I think he was just in an environment where there were tons of them. That's why it was so hard for him.
Yeah.
But I've heard other people. I've seen some Twitter things, and a couple of people have said I can't get my Bluetooth connected, and it might have to do with this new Bluetooth chip that they're using. That I don't know what's going on there. But the other thing I noticed, a lot of people, some have said they don't like the home button.
Yeah, I'm not used to it yet.
I like it.
I like it, but sometimes it does things I don't want it to do.
Like what?
Well, I'm not going to be able to think of one now, but there are times where, I'll tell you, for instance, like before with the 6 Plus, 6S Plus, I could tap that home button with my fingernail just to see what was on the screen. This won't do this because it's capacitive. It's not an actual button. And so sometimes when I press it with my thumb, then it just actually it unlocks the phone, and I just want to see the notifications.
Here's how I've been able to get that to work fairly consistently, is I just sort of push on the very bottom edge of the button.
Well, and you know what I just realized too? You could just press with a finger that you don't have a fingerprint in there for, and it would work too. The other thing that I've had trouble with, this one that I don't remember having trouble with.
Then you get this.
Oh, okay. With this, I didn't have this problem with the 6S Plus. When you want to hold down on an icon and you want to make that jiggle to move stuff around or to delete stuff, it seems like somehow this screen's more difficult than the old one, even though they were both.
No, it's just harder in iOS 10. Period.
Well, maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. But I've had a more difficult time with this. I mean, I've been running iOS 10 on my other one since July, maybe, and didn't have trouble with the 6S Plus, but on the 7.
Yeah, because pretty much every time I want to do that, it ends up doing a force touch instead of.
Yeah. I pushed too hard. So I'm sure that they fine-tuned that, and it's more sensitive, and it'll just take some time to get used to, but I'm not used to it yet.
The speakers are very nice. I'm very pleased with the speakers. So, for example, here's our.
Kevin Purcell, and this is one of those Theotek extras that we don't do very often, but I've done a couple of them. But
anyway, it's like I'm there.
Because I got something.
It's coming out of here.
T-Mobile today. That's right.
And down here.
Okay.
Get your iPhone.
So it's stereo, and even if it's, that's, you're not getting a real stereo effect with something that close. Okay, it's okay, but even from something this big, the stereo isn't going to be that great. But the fact that you get double the speakers, that's the benefit of it. That's the coolest thing. But here's another cool, interesting thing. Getting back to the old, why did they get rid of the headphone jack? All right, so you notice there's 2 grills here, right?
Right.
Those are both speakers, right?
No.
What's the other one?
Nothing.
Air.
Actually, it isn't nothing.
It's to equalize the altimeter.
That's what Apple's description says this. If you go on iFixit.com, they found this little plastic kind of thing back there, and they were like, what's going on? What's with this? And apparently what it does is it allows, because this case is so well suctioned, it doesn't allow any outside stuff in, that an altimeter reading can only be accurate is if it allows some environment into the case a little bit. And so they did that to help make the altimeter more sensitive.
Even though it had an altimeter on the 6.
It did, but apparently it wasn't as good as this one. So, altimeter, sensor, headphone jack.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine without the headphone jack. Hey, one more thing, real quick. I just put this case back on. I did get this is one of the new cases for this. They make one for the 7 and the 7 Plus. This is from Tech 21. And so to me, this I don't know how well you can see this, but to me, it had a little bit of a Star Trek feel, or look to it, not feel, but look to it with this mesh design that's on here. Again, I'm not sure how well that's going to show up, but I chose to get one of those at the Apple Store rather than one of theirs, because your old cases aren't going to work right with the new camera system.
Yeah, on the 7 Plus.
Yeah, on the 7 Plus.
I haven't tried putting a case on the 7 yet. I don't know if I have it.
No, they won't work on the 7 either because the camera's different. Unless you've just got a really big camera cut out.
I've got like 4, 5, 6, 6 Plus and 6S Plus cases that I guess I can sell on eBay.
Well, cool.
Hey, I got one more favorite thing, real quick. So it's winter. I've got the 12-inch iPad, and this is how I carry it, and just a smart cover over the top. I usually carry it fairly naked, but it's getting cold now that I'm in the Northeast, and so I picked up this.
Yeah, I have that
pouch. Yeah, from Interlinear. So it's got the nice double slot, so big enough for the iPad Pro here.
Who makes that?
Interlinear.
You know what I fit in mine, Antoine? I fit my MacBook in the smaller pocket, and I can carry both my iPad Pro and my MacBook in the same case. I carry it every day that way.
I've had it for a few days now. Just came in a little bit ago. It's actually pretty reasonable. I'm usually not one to do pouches and carry on.
And they give you these little ones too.
Yeah, man, I got my little pouch as well, but this is going away to somebody else, a friend of mine who likes to cover their.
It's a great company, and their stuff's not expensive.
Not at all. This cost me $15. Came in really quick. If you decide to get rid of the little pouch, there is a silk cloth inside of it. I almost got rid of it and lost the silk cloth. But really cool, really easy. The only thing that I would actually change about this, I have a gold iPad Pro. I would love to have gold felt, a gold felt case.
One other thing that you forgot to mention, Antoine, or it's also got smaller pockets on the back.
I pointed to
and you can put your iPhone in.
You can put your iPhone. You can put other case or another item in there. Protective. My device didn't get wet today, so I'm happy.
Yeah, I've got one from Amazon Basics.
That puppy's only $14 too.
Yeah.
And you both really like it.
I've got a number of their cases. I've got one that's just for the MacBook, but then I mainly use that one like Antoine has there because I can carry both the iPad Pro and the MacBook in it.
I could really see getting this now that I have this. And this is my iPad 12, my iPad Pro, as you can see on the back. And I'll open it up if I can do it. It's hard to do with while holding it. Anyway,
dun, dun, dun.
This is the bridge keyboard for the iPad Pro.
Uh-oh.
And it is very nice keyboard. It sort of turns it into, it makes it very much a notebook computer, essentially. And I'm having a hard time lifting it without it coming out right now.
It's not meant to have a keyboard.
But anyway, so nice keyboard. It's got great keys. Feels almost, it's not as nice as typing on my MacBook, but it's close. It does feel a little cheaper. These edges are a little sharp on it. Normally, tonight when I want to show it online, these clamps here, they're not clamps, but they hold the iPad really well. Actually, the instruction said if it gets loose, then just squeeze a little. I thought that was kind of funny.
And you've got function keys that aren't on the Apple Smart Cover keyboard.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but yeah, you're right. It's Bluetooth. It doesn't connect through the iPad's, what do they call that thing? Just the keyboard connector? Is that what it's called?
Connector.
Anyway, it doesn't have a connector for that, which is, I kind of wish it had that instead of Bluetooth. but and I reported to you guys privately that the battery life on it was not very good. I was wrong. I guess I just didn't get it charged as much as I thought I did. But I charged it up again, and after a day's use, it's still almost acts like it's a full charge. So, so it's pretty good. But that's not cheap. They're like $160. Now I'm not paying that much because I wouldn't pay for another keyboard. I'm getting it as a review unit. So just, full disclosure. But I'm reviewing it for gottabemobile.com, and I'll have a written review up.
Those look very nice, even though I'm very pleased with the Apple Smart Cover keyboard. Those do look nice.
If you are a primary, like I want to be typing all the time on my iPad, I think it would be worth it to go with that instead of the iPad Apple keyboard. And then just get the Smart Cover for those times when you really do just want to run around use your iPad as an iPad, not as a notebook replacement. Then get the Smart Cover and do that. Or just carry it around in this $13.99 Interlinear thing and take the keyboard off. You can't go better than that. That's a great price for it. Oh, and it comes in different colors too, it looks like.
Yeah, I think they have them to match the different colors of the iPad.
Yeah, so anyway. Well, gosh, it's 11 after.
Yeah,
this is like the extended version of Theotek.
Theotek Extra.
Yeah, we probably ought to finish up. You want me to share with them where we're at and stuff, LaRosa?
Go for it.
All right, we are on Theotek.com. We are on YouTube. And if you want to follow us on Twitter, go to Theotek Podcast. Those are the 3 best places to get a hold of us. And if you want to subscribe, please do so on YouTube, especially if you're watching right now. It's just a real quick and easy click of a button right near you there. And subscribe to us. That way you'll find it. We usually do this every Tuesday night. We were off last week. And, every 6 or 8 shows we'll take a week or 2 off. But we put it up on Theotek.com normally within a week so that you can also get an audio version of it. And we're a very visual show, so I think that watching it is better than listening to it. But some people would just rather listen, and that's great. If you want to listen, feel free to do so. You can get it through iTunes, and you can also get it through most podcast apps, thanks to Stitcher Radio. They follow it. They have it listed in there as well. So that's where we are. We're done, guys.
Great show. Good job, LaRosa.
Yeah. As always, pleasure talking with you guys.
All right. We are done then. Good night.
Good evening.
Good night.